Welcome to the realm of Millenia. Be ye a man, a woman, a child, a spirit, a creature, or a Mahan. Be ye a native migrator, or maybe even an invader into the realm. Welcome, for I am your host, the Millenia Mailman, here today, chilling outside a Chick-fil-A, running errands for people. They're taking forever to get their order right, so I will start the video and pause it whenever they choose to come out and finish it back at the house. But yes, the hot take for the week is that these men versus women debates are all the fault of the good, supportive, and protective men who treat all the women in their life properly. They give all the world to their women, and they give all the affections and affirmations to the proper women in their lives the proper way. It's all their fault, because you can't blame the jealous witches for those emotions that they can't control, right? And I broke that argument up into 4 larger aspects. Number 1, you can't blame the jealous witches, and because of that stigma alone, you can't blame women at all. And the other 3 categories of good, supportive, and protective, where those are the categories of men. They either fall into those or they don't, and you naturally have to blame those kinds of men as opposed to anyone who doesn't fall into those categories, because the responsibility and everything attached to it. You can't blame the terrible dudes, because the terrible ones never were listening, and they never care, and they probably will never change. And you can't really blame the other formats of those who aren't good, who aren't supportive, and you can't really blame the ones who aren't protective, because they're probably the ones fighting for blood, right? So that is the hot take and how I broke it down. I'll try to delve into it now based off my memory, since I don't have the notebook. But that is, excuse me, but that is basically the essential question here being made. The prompt, rather. That is the prompt for this week's hot take. All these men versus women debates and arguments is that a bug? Or am I seeing things? All these men versus women debates and arguments are the fault of the good men. Now let's get into it. So with that first point, you can't really blame the jealous witches for their emotions they can't control. Because number 1, these men versus women debates only basically only include and incorporate the jealous witches, right? Because if you're a woman and you got a man, you got a good man, you got a man you trust, rely on, you agree with, and everything, you're not in this. Like, whether or not you consider yourself a feminist, a feminisms, or a trad wife, a traditional wife, a conservative wife, whatever it is, if you got your man and you have faith in men, you're not in this conversation. You're not a part of the debates and the arguments of men versus women, because you are so far detached from it, you probably low-key don't have any idea what I'm talking about right now. You can hear this, you can hear me talking, and you'd be like, what is he talking about? I've never heard of this men versus women thing. That's weird. You're talking about sports? Men versus women is kind of awkward, I guess, but you're talking about like in debating and fighting, men versus women fighting against each other in conversation? That's ridiculous. Is that a trend? Is that going viral now? That's making no sense, right? If you got a man and or you got respect for men, and you're not a jealous woman, you have no idea what I'm talking about, right? So you're not blaming those kinds of women. If you are a genuine need no man, like you are probably I don't want to say probably, like if you're gay or a lesbian, if you're lesbian, you need no man, don't care for men, you are decentered from men, truly, then these men versus women arguments have nothing to do with you. You're not entertaining them, you're not promoting them, and you're not starting or tolerating that conversation because men isn't in your vocabulary, let alone a part of your centralized lifestyle. Men are actually decentered from you. So we can't really blame you for the men versus women debates and arguments because, yet again, leave me out of it. I don't know what you're talking about, is your attitude there. Meaning the only ones left would be those insecure, genuinely jealous women who can't control their emotions and how they feel. And of course, the pharmaceutical age is upon us because you can't really blame people for the stuff they can't control unless they have the drugs that allows them to control them, of course, right? So if the only one left is the jealous woman, that means it's a jealous woman. But as I just said, they can't control their emotions. So guess what? You can't blame the women at all. And that's all the categories of women there are in this conversation, debate piece, right? So then there's the jumping across the... I'll just turn this car off. Conserve a little bit of gas. This car takes premium, so of course the gas price is never going to be cheap. So, anyways, anywho then you got the different types of men, but I choosingly identified the good, supportive, and protective men, right? Where again, if I miss anything, I will bring it back up when I continue at the house, but allow me to paraphrase. There were 3 for good men. You got your humorous, not humorous, humilitus. You got good humility men. You got good submissive men, and you got good, what's that last one? There was definitely 3 categories for the good. Honest? Good honest men. Yeah, I think so. Where the humility, as I talked about before, humility comes from a place of being capable and competent. So if you're not capable and competent, or noble, you can't really be humilitus, because humility is lowering yourself from your actual true level, right? So these good men who are allowing themselves to level the playing field for a talking place, you gotta blame those people, because those self-entitled, inflated ego individuals out here that are just being so pompous and extra, you can't blame them. They kind of like the jealous witches have no control over their emotions. They just narcissistic in a manner of speaking. They're being too much. They can't help that. That's just part of their character and personality, right? So you're not blaming them. Who do you blame? You blame the men who would actually be considered mentors and role models. You got to blame the good ones. You got to blame the good ones, because the bad ones are never ever really going to be good without any correction and being fixed, making it the fault of the good people who could correct, who could mentor, who could have sway to alleviate these problems. You have to blame those people for not going above and beyond to fix the problems. You got to blame the people who could and should be taking initiative. You can't blame the terrible, evil human beings for being evil. They're just terrible and evil. You gotta blame the good ones for not being better. And I know that sounds utterly awful and horrible. Like, that's a terrible take, but it's an honest truth. What you gonna blame? You want me to pin the blame that the world isn't a better place because Hitler existed? That's crazy. I have to say, if there's anything, I can't blame the world for being as terrible as it is because Hitler ever existed. I have to acknowledge Hitler shouldn't have needed to exist for us to recognize some things may have needed fixing. I can only blame, at least the world anyway. The world can only point fingers at that whatever educator that and whatever educator denied Hitler the ability to go into art school. Nope, you're a terrible artist. You're never going to school. Kill all the Jews then. I can't go into college that I want to be an artist. Kill all the Jews. Like, okay. We got to blame the artist, man. You could have made a better decision than that. He would not have had that political opportunity had he been an artist and trying to sell his paintings and sculptures. You took away his last line of defense for the shred of goodness in his heart, and now he's a terrible human being. It's like, makes sense. So that's just that example. But yeah, the good, you got the humilitas, you got good the good submissive, where that is in reference to the good boys. Oh, good boy, you listened well. Good job. Good job. You gotta blame all those good job, good boy people. Those good boy men. Because those submissive people tend to not be able to take initiative. They don't take that initiative to go above and beyond. They'll just listen to you, but they don't have much of a thought of their own, much like dogs don't, unless they're being aggressive and violent, which is a bad boy. That's a bad boy. You need to listen, right? So you got to blame all the good boys, the good job, because those good men who listen and can be easily deceived, they're rather gullible. If you're a good boy, you're gullible. It's unfortunately very true. If you're a submissive good boy, you are gullible, and those gullible good boys tend to be some of the worst villain arc individuals. They are easily swayed and swindled by certain people's perspectives, like say red pill, black pill content that would convince them, hey, this is the truth. Oh my gosh, this is the worst thing in the world. You know what? I do believe you. Yeah, you're right. This is the worst thing in the world. So they'll hear some of the worst things about the truth and the objective reality from the pill content creators, and they'll have that internalized because they're gullible, and that'll turn them into being terrible people despite still being submissive good boys. It's like, and you have the same thing vice versa, where you have them internalizing the commentary of some rather despicably jealous people. I mean, specifically jealous women who just hate themselves, hate life, hate dudes, where those good boys will listen, internalize, and be so hurt that they end up deciding, I'd be better off dead. You know, you're right. You guys don't need men. I don't know why I exist. You guys totally don't deserve to be around any men you don't like. You know what? This person said that. This person with 2,000 followers, 5,000 followers, everything has 1 million likes, 1 million comments. You're right. You know what? Maybe I am just a shitbag. Maybe I am absolutely worthless and garbage and trash. You know what? It totally does make sense. I deserve... You know what? I deserve nothing. I deserve absolutely nothing. And then the only thing that's got nothing is less than dirt. Because even dirt deserves something. So I should just be dead. You know what? I'm going to kill myself and make myself dead. Because that is what all you women deserve. I am a waste of space, a waste of air, a waste of breath. The best thing I can do is turn into fertilizer and not exist no more. Those people committing suicide are the good boys who were gullible into being convinced that they might be doing the world a favor being dead because they were fed lies and they were deceived into believing it. Not necessarily their fault, but hey, good boy did a good boy job and listened. Got rid of himself. I blame that guy. Because again, we can't blame the women. So I blame you for allowing yourself to be gullible, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because you going about dying is the whole reason why a whole bunch of people are out here believing that we should be having these men versus women debates. How foolish of you. How foolish of you be so gullible and easily deceived that you turn into your villain arc despite you being a hero. And or how dare you turn into such a good boy you get beaten and abused by your owner like that. How could you tolerate getting beaten and abused to death? There are plenty of people who get beaten and abused and they live through it and they make the world a better place. How are you going to allow the world to get worse on top of getting beaten to death? How dare you? Now we all suffer and it's your fault. It's not my fault. I had nothing to do with this. Not my fault. I'm a terrible human being. I might be the very reason that the world is as terrible of a place that it is right now. But you can't blame me because I was never intending to change. The world made me like this. Can't blame me. I'm just a symptom of how bad things are. I'm not the cause. You're the cause. Leave me alone. After you fix yourself, I probably will change. But until so long as you're still effed up, I'm always going to be effed up worse than you. Because I look to you, bro. I look to you. Right? So you got to blame the good, supportive, protective men. And that was just the good aspect. That was the jealous witches and the good men. But yeah. I'll get back to the Friday. I'll come back for the Friday video to continue this. But yes, you have to blame the good, supportive, protective men. Go ahead in the comment section, leave a comment, thoughts, opinions, and everything. Like or dislike however you want to. Share the video for more exposure. This has been the Wednesday video for it. Catch me back on Friday for the Friday Finish It Friday, where I talk about the connection to supportive, protective men. Because we already talked about the jealous and okay, they're out. Yep.